right, good afternoon, and today we're going to be doing lifting elbows and rolling. So please lie on your backs and just begin to connect to the floor, your sensations. What's alive in you right now? What's percolating with life, with energy and vitality, with sensation? Do you bring your attention more to your arms or your hands, your legs or your feet, your spine, your trunk? Where does your attention go when you're looking for vitality, for sensation, for aliveness in your body? And then more specifically, bring your attention to your breathing. Just feeling how the inhalation and the exhalation influences your body, the movements in your trunk. And notice which lifts more, the abdomen or the chest. And just make a gentle suggestion to your body as you breathe in to let it begin in your lower abdomen and then expand up under your ribs, under your sternum, your chest. And then feel all of that lower as you exhale. And notice how your ribs move, how much movement is there. Are there places that feel like there aren't as much movement? There isn't as much movement? Is there the same amount of lifting and lowering on the right side of your chest as the left side? And what about the ribs along your side, the right and left sides? Can you sense the movement, the expansion of the ribs all the way up underneath your armpits? And again, is the movement in the ribs on the right as much or less or different than the movements on the other side? Just breathing and getting a sense that on each side there are 12 ribs. And I have this image, see if this works for you, of the keys on a piano. There's 7 white keys in an octave and 5 black keys in an octave, so there's 12 keys. And from underneath, your breath is playing the keys of your ribs like a piano, lifting them up and lowering them back down. 12 on each side, right and left. But these keys, your personal rib piano keys, wrap all the way around you, from front to back. And then, one leg at a time, bend your knees up. And very gently, not going to your full end range of motion, just begin to turn your head a little bit left and a little bit right. Not feeling for the range of motion or the stretch, but feeling for the quality. How easily does your head move one direction? And how easily does it move in the other direction? Can you begin to feel the nuances of difference between one side and the other side? And is your attention more captivated by the places that feel tight or strained, where there's tension? Or can you bring your attention to the places as you're turning your head left and right that feel easy and soft? Where your head's just gliding, the back of your head is rolling on the floor, on your pillow. And then pause with your head in the middle. And bring your arms over your chest and bring your left arm to hold your right upper arm between your shoulder and your elbow. So cross your left arm across your chest to hold your right upper arm, and then bring your right arm to hold your left, each hand holds the opposite upper arm. There you go. So the left hand is holding the right upper arm, and the right hand is holding the left upper arm. Sometimes we make things more complicated than they need to be. And just gently pull with your left hand, pull your right arm and elbow over to the left, and alternate using your right hand to pull your left arm and elbow and shoulder over to the right. And each time you do this, begin to grow the movement so that you're actually beginning to roll a little bit. Let your head follow. Let your knees follow. And as you go back and forth, each time growing the movement just a little more, begin to feel how you're peeling the back of your ribs off the floor. As your right hand pulls your left arm, your left shoulder lifts, your left shoulder blade lifts, and eventually some of those ribs begin to lift. And each time you roll from side to side, going a little farther and a little farther. And some of you will easily find yourself just rolling eventually all the way onto your side. For others of you, you may find an extraordinary amount of effort at some point in the lesson. So I encourage you to stay within the limits of that effort. Don't make yourself achieve the goal of rolling onto your side. Instead, begin to be interested in the effort. What is that effort? Where is that effort? And stay just within the limits of having to effort and push and make it happen. So whether you're rolling 2 or 3 inches from side to side, or you're rolling all the way over onto your right and left sides, you are doing the lesson perfectly for you. Letting your head follow, letting your knees follow. At some point you may even notice there's a place where your opposite foot wants to just press a little bit to help bring you over onto your side, and you can let that happen. You can let your legs help you. Just let it be light and easy. Try it a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times, not letting your head turn. So keeping your head face towards the ceiling, but just turning the rest of your body, your arms, your shoulders, your ribs, even your hips and legs, turning, but not your head, not your neck. Notice how you're breathing. Are you beginning to focus and concentrate, therefore restricting your breath, or is it just staying full and even? And if you haven't already, let your head go and let it follow the motion, following your arms, your trunk, your legs, side to side. And then just pause for a moment in the middle, let your arms down. Feel your contact with the floor. Notice if anything's drawing your attention differently than when we started. Do you feel your breath moving from the inside, moving your abdomen or your ribs any differently? And then come back to the same position with your knees bent and one hand holding the opposite upper arm. And return to the same movement, starting with the right hand pulling the left arm over to the right, the left arm pulling the right over to the left, rolling left and right. And as you roll, let your head also look down a little bit. So as you roll this way, you're sort of curling a little bit towards a fetal position. Not a big curl, not a big movement, but just the inclination towards curling up a little bit. Just feel that. Great. And then a couple times as you continue to roll and curl, don't let your knees turn with your trunk. So keep your knees pointed to the ceiling, but let your arm continue to peel your shoulder and your ribs off the floor. If you've been rolling all the way to your side, you may find that the constraint of not letting your knees go may limit the roll. That's fine. And when you've restricted that a few times, then let the knees go and just see how the rolling side to side feels. Just let it go with that little bit of a curl as you get towards your side. Flattening your low back, tilting your head down. And then rest your arms, rest your legs. Just lying here, giving your brain a rest from the focusing, from the concentration. Keeping in mind that these lessons are as much, if not more, about training the focusing capacity of your brain to choose what you want to think about, where you want to feel, how you want to experience yourself in this moment. And the movement and the feel-good is all the icing on the cake. So once again, please bend your knees up one at a time. And interlace your fingers and place them on your sternum, kind of lower, just above that little arch where there's no ribs, below your breasts. And just place them there. And gently lift your elbows up and down several times. So you keep your palms on your ribs. Keeping your palms on your ribs, raising the elbows up and lowering them down. And notice as you raise your elbows up, do your shoulders lift up away from the floor also? So that's one strategy, raising the elbows and raising the shoulders a little bit. Or can you try the other strategy, which is letting the shoulders sink down a little bit towards the floor as your elbows come up? Some of you may or may not have access to both strategies, so just sort of play with the possibility. And then just rest. And come back to the movement of holding your upper arm with your opposite hand. Roll a couple times from side to side, pulling your arm with your hand. Letting your shoulders go. And try it a few times, just letting your shoulders go. But this time, don't let your head or your knees roll. So your arm pulls and peels your shoulder and your ribs as far as they can go, not going into that real forceful, efforting place. So feel what gets limited when neither the knees nor the head get to go along. And then let just the knees go, but not the head. Let the knees follow left and right in the same direction with the elbows. And then just a few times let everything go. Let your head follow, let your knees follow. And just feel if rolling to side is changing or getting any easier. Notice your breathing. Is there any unnecessary tension in your jaw? And then let your arms down and rest. And again, bring your hands up over your chest and interlace your fingers. Place the palms of your hand on those lower ribs. Gently raise and lower your elbows. Just feeling. How does that shoulder, the upper arm, glide in the shoulder joint? What happens with the shoulder blade? And then keep your fingers interlaced and just pause for a moment. And then bring your arms together with your fingers interlaced. Bring them up over your head, elbows soft, and can you turn so that your palms are up towards the ceiling while keeping your fingers interlaced? Can you rotate your hands, fingers interlaced, so your palms are towards the ceiling? Very good. And now with your arms and hands in this configuration, begin taking your hands and arms left and right. And see, how does your shoulder lift, your ribs lift? How do you roll towards your side with your arms in this configuration? Now for some, having your arms up like this could be more challenging, so rest whenever you need to. You may not have the range of motion in your wrists or your shoulders, so lower your arms down and just make something up that works for you. Imagining it or coming up with a close enough a simile is good enough. The brain is still learning. You're still bringing attention to the movement. Taking your arms side to side, letting your head follow, letting your knees follow, and seeing how far can you easily roll. Again, some of you are just going to roll right onto your sides, and others will have a range that's comfortable for you, and one is not more right than the other. And as you take your arms to the side, as you get as far as you can easily to the left, raise them up as though they're going up over your head a little bit, and then bring them back so that they cross over your chest in the middle. And as you roll to the other side, let them reach up towards the wall behind you. So you're sort of sweeping them down across the middle as they cross over your chest, and as they roll you onto the side, they reach upwards. So you're kind of making an upside down rainbow. Let your head follow, let your eyes follow, and just feel that potential of your whole back arching, your neck, your middle back, Even you might feel more of a curve in your lower back as you get to your side. Good. Let your arms down and rest for a moment. Feel how your ribs are feeling now as you breathe. Feel how you're giving your weight to the floor. How you're allowing yourself to feel supported. And then again, come back to this last position, bending one knee at a time, interlacing your fingers, turning palms up towards the ceiling. And just try that same motion a few times, taking your hands to the right and then swooping them up towards the wall above your head, and then bringing them back down over your chest and swooping them up again as you roll to the other side. Feel as your arms swoop up. Feel the influence throughout your whole spine, your neck, your low back, your pelvis. And a few times try this without letting your knees rock, keeping your knees pointed up towards the ceiling, but still following with your head and your shoulders. What does this constraint create? Where's that point where you may want to push an effort and make the movement bigger? And how do you work with yourself to stay within your comfortable, easy, and graceful range? And then let your knees go. Let them follow the rolling from side to side. A few times, let everything go. Arms across the chest, and then swooping up towards the wall above your head. Nice. Just 2 or 3 more times, and then let your hands down and let your legs down and take a full rest, please. And as you rest, just feel the weight of your arms, the weight of your legs, the back of your trunk, your ribs, your muscles. You may want to gently rock your head from side to side and feel the quality of that movement now. Good. And then again, bend your knees up. Cross your hands over your chest so that your right arm is holding onto your left arm and your left arm is holding onto your right arm. And notice which arm is on top. Just notice. And then see if you can switch. So you're still holding the opposite arm, but the other arm is the one that's on top. And then again, return to pulling the arm, peeling the shoulder away from the floor, letting your head, pelvis, and knees follow, rolling onto your side. And in this configuration, as you roll towards your side, feeling your head looking downward and your whole trunk curling up a little bit. Your lower back pressing towards the floor instead of lifting away from the floor. And then see if you can do this a few times, going from side to side. And this time, as you get to the side, begin to look upward with your head while holding your arms. Feel that motion. How does that influence the rolling from side to side as you look upward with your head? Still pulling with the opposite arm, peeling the shoulder and ribs off the floor, but as you get to the side, turning your gaze upward towards the wall above you. Lovely. And then just let your arms rest. You can keep your knees bent. Just pause for a moment. And then interlace your fingers. Turn your palms towards the ceiling. Begin to rock your arms from side to side, sweeping the arms up as you get to the side, so that your whole trunk is rolling right and left. As you get to your side, you're arching, looking up, feeling the lifting and the lengthening in your back. Feeling how your legs support you. And then how would you do this movement so that as you go to the side, you actually curl? You look downward and you curl like we do with the other movements. Maybe you cross your palms more across your forehead and then bring them downward as you swoop to the right and to the left. So instead of making an upside down rainbow with your hands, it's more right side up. And as you turn to each side, you feel yourself curling more towards a fetal position. How would you do that? Crossing them across the chest and then lowering them down. Bringing them up, crossing them, and then lowering them down. Just play with it. Be easy and light. And then just rest your arms down, rest your legs down. Listen to your body for how much is too much, how much is just enough. Good. And again, bend your knees up. And just roll your head a little bit right and left. Feel the quality of that movement. Good. And then pause in the middle. Now interlace your fingers. So this is your habitual finger interlacing. And then move them one finger over and just really pause to feel that difference. When you move your fingers one finger over from the way you naturally interlace them, it's a very different experience. So just feel that. And then move them back over to your habitual way. And just feel how that just fits like an old shoe, an old slipper. Feel how your brain experiences those sensations. And then switch it over again non-habitually and keep them there. And place the palms of your hand on your lower ribs. And begin to take the palms of your hand and gently guide your trunk to roll left and right. So as you roll to the right, your right elbow might lift a little bit off the floor to give more room for your trunk. And as you roll to the left, your left elbow might need to lift a little bit to give room for the rolling. And just letting yourself roll. And then begin to grow that. So as you roll further, you begin to reach your hands out and turn the palms up and reach them out to the side. And then as you come back to your back, palms down, resting on your lower ribs. As you roll to the other side, the palms begin to reach out to the side. Coming back to the middle, resting the palms, and just growing that motion. So it's similar to what we were doing with the palms up, but there's this neutral place where the palms rest, and then the arms reach out from the center to the side, and if you have the mobility, they can begin to lengthen upward. And then they come back down, back to the center, and begin to roll to the other side. Reach out and up to whatever your comfort level is. Just following your hands with your head side to side, down to your lower ribs, up to the wall above you. Feeling your shoulders moving. Feeling how your ribs peel off the floor and get set back down on the floor with each side movement. Breathing and letting your jaw be soft and just growing the movement. Resting whenever you need to and just coming back to it easily and gently, feeling that sensation of sort of getting smaller, closing as you bring your palms to your chest and opening out to the side. It's springtime, so when I think of opening, I think of flowers and blossoms, sunshine and sunbathing. And just continue a few more times and then rest your hands down at your side, rest your legs. Just feel the quality of your resting now. Feel what's alive in you. Where's the vitality? Where's the energy? You may feel relaxed, and sometimes that can give you a sensation of fatigue. So just feel that, and where does that live in your body? You may be curious or interested how this lesson is going to affect you when you stand up and begin moving around. So feel where that interest and that curiosity lives in your body, under your skin. And then one last time, bend your knees up one at a time, please. And interlace your fingers and place them on your lower chest. And just gently lift and lower your elbows, feeling if that has changed. If the relationship of your shoulders and your shoulder blades to your ribs has changed in some way through these movements, just notice. For some it has, for some you may not notice. You may not have the sensations of the change. And then rest your elbows down, and just again, one last time, turn your head softly right and left, feeling if anything has changed in how you experience the rolling of your head. And then pause. And when you're ready, go ahead and roll to your sides and sit up. Take your time to stand up and really take some time to experience standing and walking and moving. Let your mind really appreciate any sensations that are of interest to you, that feel good, that feel new or different. Bring your attention whenever you can this week to your breath and your ribs, the openness of your chest, and have a wonderful week. Thank you.